Hello there, thanks for joining me this Wednesday on 7Edition. I'm Helena Krishnamurthy and these are tonight's top stories. Tun Daim expects tenders to be called soon to acquire stakes in GLCs. SC fines Deloitte for 2.2 million ringgit over 1 MDB deal. And Sepang fire reclassified as murder. We begin tonight's bulletin with this story. The government is set to issue public tenders to acquire stakes in some government-linked companies, GLCs, as it seeks to divest its interests in the latter. Council of Eminent Persons, Chairman Tun Daim Zainuddin said GLC boards, which he is not a part of, will conduct a study and come up with a proposal on the matter.
New board has taken over, so they're doing all the study. And soon they will make a proposal to the board first, which companies they want to divest. And I think this time they'll call for tender. They'll call for tender. I think they'll call for tender.
When will we see?
I mean, as I told you, these are big companies. And so many companies are there. They have to identify which company they want to divest first.
He added that the due diligence process will take some time to complete. Earlier, government-linked investment company Khazanah Nasional Berhad sold 16% of its equity interest in IHH Healthcare Berhad, worth 8.42 billion ringgit to Mitsui & Co. Limited. Meanwhile, on another development, Tun Daim said that the Pakatan Harapan government must deliver on its election promises. 8 months into the new Malaysia, he urged ministers to work hand-in-hand with civil servants to implement the economic and institutional reforms.
Could do more. The learning process is over. Now a matter of implementation, and the Raya expects a lot. They must honor their promises, and it can be done, provided there's unity, sit down together and work on the good of the Raya and the country. This time, politics aside, time to deliver. Raya are watching. That you make so many promises, please deliver on these promises.
Tun Daim added the civil service is made up of people who are capable and possess good qualification. However, there are ministers who do work without asking for the opinions of others, and when this happens, civil servants will not bother, hence why many things are not implemented well. Earlier, he gave an address at UiTM's luncheon talk entitled The Future of the Bumiputra Economy Atmosphere. Police have reclassified the case of a newly married couple who died in a house fire in Sepang on Monday as murder. According to Selangor Criminal Investigation Department Chief Senior Assistant Commissioner Fadzil Ahmad, a preliminary post-mortem report on the female victim stated injury to the head caused by a blow with a hard object. Fadzil said the post-mortem report on the male victim has not been received yet, while police are still recording statements from a number of individuals to facilitate the probe. On Monday, one Muhammad Baharul Nizam Wan Bakar, aged 35, and Nur Wahida Abdul Hamid, 28, were found dead in a fire in a one-story terrace house in Taman Desa Vista, Sepang. Both victims were civil servants working at the National Registration Department in Putrajaya. Now, the body of one Muhammad Baharul Nizam Wan Bakar was also safely buried at the Felda Tenang Islamic Cemetery in Besut, Terengganu at 8:50 a.m. The victim's remains were earlier transported from Serdang Hospital and arrived at his hometown at about 3 a.m. His family was distraught over the tragedy and had refused to comment on the incident. Meanwhile, the body of Nur Wahida Abdul Hamid was safely buried at about 10 a.m. today. Her family, when met, said they have accepted the loss of the couple and now leave it up to the police to investigate what really happened.
Saya tidak ada apa nak ulas lagi lah sebab saya belum lagi berjumpa dengan pegawai yang berkaitan. Jadi untuk apa-apa ulasan daripada saya, Malaysia tidak ada masalah. Sebab saya pun tidak mendapat fakta kes yang tepat daripada pihak pegawai penyiasat.
Nur Wahida's body was buried at the Masjid An-Najah burial ground in Kedah, near her grandmother's village. The death of the newly married couple has devastated their families, who were busy preparing for their wedding reception on the bride's side of the family, scheduled on February 2nd in Kangar, Perlis, while the reception on the groom's side was supposed to be held on February 6th in Besut, Terengganu. A 28-year-old woman was killed when the car she was driving skidded and hit a toll post early today. The accident occurred at kilometre 8 of the North-South Expressway southbound in Johor Bahru at 3 a.m. Johor Bahru District Police Chief ACP Muhammad Taib Ahmad said the victim has been identified as Tan Kwok Wee, who died on the spot. An initial probe revealed that the car driven by Tan did not collide with any other vehicles. The case is being investigated under the Road Transport Act. Police are monitoring several locations in Sabah, including Tawau, Sandakan and several other districts identified as transit locations for Daesh militants wanting to enter southern Philippines. Inspector General of Police Tan Sri Muhammad Fuzi Harun said this following the bomb blast at a church in Jolo, which killed 27 people and injured 77 others on Sunday. Following the incident, Tan Sri Muhammad Fuzi said the police would heighten security in Sabah as there have been information of Daesh attempts to make southern Philippines its new area of operations.
Jadi kawalan yang kita buat ni adalah pemantauan berterusan. Seperti mana kita nyatakan tadi, kita tak mahu negara kita menjadi transit kepada elemen Daesh, khususnya mereka yang pada ketika ini sedang menghadapi masalah di Syria dan Iraq. Dan salah satu tempat yang kita kena pasti yang mereka nak jadikan tempat displacement ataupun tempat baru mereka berjuang adalah di selatan Filipina. Selain daripada itu, dengan kumpulan yang ada kaitan dengan Muslim group di Myanmar, Rakhine.
He also said that the police had previously released the names of 18 individuals from the southern Philippines with terror links, which included members of the Abu Sayyaf and Kidnap for Ransom groups, and would continue to keep watch of their movements into the country. The IGP was met at the Pingat Jasa Pahlawan Negara award-giving ceremony at the Perlis Contingent Police Headquarters in Kangar earlier today. The service awards were presented to 250 policemen from Perlis who excelled in their duties. Tan Sri Muhammad Fuzi meanwhile said the police would be recommending that the Prevention of Crime Act 1959, POCA, and the Prevention of Terrorism Act 2015, POTA, not to be abolished, despite this being one of the election pledges made by the Pakatan Harapan PH government. Tan Sri Muhammad Fuzi also argued that the two acts are still needed to address gangsterism, group syndicates as well as other delicate and sensitive issues.
Di pihak kita pun ada mengukakan proposal bahawa sekiranya seboleh-bolehnya undang-undang ini tidak dimasukkan dan ditambah baik. Sekiranya perlu bahagian-bahagian tertentu daripada undang-undang kedua undang tersebut agar dimasukkan ataupun ditambah baik, tapi bukan memasukkan sama sekali undang-undang yang sedia ada, kerana pada pandangan PDRM kita berpendapat kita masih memerlukan undang-undang ini.
Previously, Home Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin had informed that the government was reviewing the abolishment of POCA and looking at possible value adding the POTA. Both are expected to be finalized in the next parliamentary session. Now, some 5.72 million traffic summonses were issued to errant motorists nationwide last year. At a media conference in Bukit Aman today, its Traffic Investigation and Enforcement Department Director, Dato' Aziz Mas Alias, said of that total, only 25% was settled.
Speeding dan parking di tempat-tempat yang tidak betul, yang paling banyak kita keluarkan lah. Macam speeding tu memang selalunya di highway lah, kita dengan peralatan kita.
He added that 5,870 fatal accidents were recorded last year, compared with 6,265 in 2017. Selangor recorded the most number of accidents last year with more than 163,000, followed by Johor with more than 78,000 and Kuala Lumpur with over 72,000 cases. He further added that motorcyclists recorded the highest number of road fatalities. Moving on, the Securities Commission Malaysia (SC) has reprimanded and imposed penalties on Deloitte PLT for 4 breaches related to the 2.4 billion ringgit Sukuk Murabaha program issued by Bandar Malaysia Sdn Bhd (BMSB) in 2014. The Commission said Deloitte was the statutory auditor for BMSB and 1MDB Real Estate Sdn Bhd, 1MDB RE for the financial years ended March 31st, 2015 to 2016. 1MDB RE, now known as TRX City Sdn Bhd, was one of the third-party security providers of the Sukuk program and the immediate holding company of BMSB. In a statement today, the SC said Deloitte had committed to breaches for its failure to immediately report irregularities to the Commission, which may have a material effect on BMSB's ability to fulfill its obligations in repaying Sukuk holders any amount under the Sukuk program. 1MDB is the holding company of 1MDB RE and BMSB. It said the breaches committed by Deloitte were serious in nature, as the audit firm failed to discharge its statutory obligations. Now, over in Johor, 5 contractors were remanded between 5 and 7 days to assist in investigations into false claims worth 48,600 ringgit 2 years ago. The remand order was issued by Magistrate Salehuddin Abdul Sani at the Johor Bahru Magistrates Court today. All the contractors aged between 39 to 55 were held by the Kluang Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission (MACC) in Johor yesterday. They are suspected of submitting false details regarding the supply work in the Pontian and Kota Tinggi Nasional Unity and Integration Department in 2017. However, further investigations reveal that the provision of work did not take place. The case is being investigated under the MACC Act. Meanwhile, two women aged between 30 and 50 who were also held at the MACC involving the same case were released on a 5,000 ringgit bail each with 1 surety. In Selangor, a sales executive pleaded not guilty at the Shah Alam Sessions Court today to 2 counts of selling a bachelor's degree last year. The 34-year-old C. Vijayakumar made the plea after the charge was read to him by a court interpreter before Judge Hakim Muhammad Sabri Ismail. For the first offence, the accused was charged with requesting a 12,500 ringgit bribe from Muhammad Izzam Muhammad Hashim, 38, in exchange for a bachelor's degree. For the second offence, the accused was charged with receiving a 1,500 ringgit bribe from Izzam for the same purpose. Both offences were allegedly committed in the vicinity of Bangi and Cyberjaya on January 25th and April 6th, respectively, last year. The accused was charged under the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Act 2009, which provides a jail term of up to 20 years and a fine of not less than 5 times the sum of the gratification, or 10,000 ringgit, whichever is higher, upon conviction. The judge set bail at 15,000 ringgit with 1 surety and ordered the accused to surrender his passport to the court. The court has set February 20th for the remention of the case. Now, when we return, not everything has to resort to violence. Stay with us. You're back with 7Edition. Now, only Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad will make announcements on the proposed 81 billion ringgit East Coast Rail Link ECRL project. The decision was made by the Cabinet after a meeting earlier today.
The Cabinet made a decision to adopt the statement made by the Prime Minister yesterday that the matter would still undergo negotiation. And in view of the sensitivity of the contract discussions, that we should allow the discussions, which will now be G2G, to be held away from public glare.
He was speaking to the media at a press conference in Putrajaya today. When asked which ministry is actually in charge of the ECRL negotiations, Lim said the government of Malaysia. The finance minister earlier attended a ceremony to hand over a 20 million ringgit mock cheque to Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs Minister Datuk Sri Saifuddin Nasution Ismail in support of the Buy Malaysia Products campaign program. Now let's hop on to our daily segment Clickbait, where we look at what's trending and making rounds in the cyber world today. Not everything has to resort to violence. On Tuesday night, a video of a controversial cosmetic entrepreneur's personal assistant physically abusing a salesgirl was uploaded on social media. Since then, the 1 minute and 2 seconds video became viral and gained hundreds of thousands of views within a short period of time. It is believed that the PA pulled the salesgirl out of the premise without explanations of any sort and started slapping her repeatedly for allegedly insulting her. It was reported that 2 other individuals who were acquaintances with the PA joined the fight before bystanders broke them off. It can be seen in the video that the salesgirl was screaming and retaliating before the recording abruptly ended. Though the individuals were brought to the security office, they threatened to do the same thing again. After the incident went viral, reports surfaced that Sajat posted on her Instagram defending her PA. However, the post could not be found. It has been confirmed that the Guardian employee reported the incident to the police and the incident is currently under investigation. Now updated as of 7 p.m, here are the top trending topics and searches on the internet today. The Malaysian Institute of Economic Research, MIER, says that business conditions are likely to improve slightly in the first quarter of 2019. Its Executive Director, Dr. Zakaria Abdul Rashid, said although the fourth quarter business conditions index BCI, which tracks domestic manufacturing activities, dropped to below the 100-point threshold to 95.3 points, the expected index has increased marginally on expectations of production and export sales. At a media conference today, Dr. Zakaria said the MIER is maintaining the country's economic growth target of 4.7% for 2018 and 4.5% for this year.
We look at these two, the domestic demand and external demand. And external demand, when you look at the IMF projection on the world economy in 2019, is 3.5. It's lower than 2018, which is 3.7, right? 3.7 to 3.5. Yeah. So when the world economy will be growing slower, then we can't expect Malaysia to grow faster than that. The results yet.
He said the market is closely watching the United States-China trade talks due in March, with the hope that President Donald Trump and Xi Jinping will reach a positive deal. The positive impact would also lead to a better economic growth in 2019. He pointed out, however, that both growth and sentiments might be further dragged down if the two leaders' talk fail, as both economic powerhouses are currently major trading partners of Malaysia. The US previously said it will increase tariffs on Chinese goods on March 2nd, 2019, as both countries started negotiations last December.